So Michael Cohen testifies before the New York grand jury. Donald Trump refuses to testify before the New York grand jury, and we continue our white-knuckled wait for accountability. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, let's take on two related stories. First, Michael Cohen testifies to the New York grand jury about Donald Trump's crimes. And two, Donald Trump refuses to testify before that same grand jury, declining the opportunity to convince the grand jury that he committed no crimes. Let's start with this New York Times reporting. Headline: Michael Cohen expected to testify before grand jury in Trump case today. That's Monday. Mr. Cohen, Donald Trump's one-time fixer, is a key piece of the puzzle as prosecutors move toward an indictment of the former president. And that article begins, Michael Cohen, a crucial witness in the Manhattan District Attorney's criminal investigation into former President Donald Trump, is meeting with prosecutors on Monday ahead of his expected appearance before the grand jury hearing evidence in the potential case. Of course, by the time you're watching this video, friends, Michael Cohen will already have completed his testimony. The article continues. Mr. Cohen, Mr. Trump's former fixer, was seen entering the building in Lower Manhattan where the prosecutors work and the grand jury meets. On his way in, Mr. Cohen remarked to reporters that he felt fine, but a little twisted, to be honest, inside, and that his goal was to tell the truth. His lawyer, Lanny Davis, said, "We have the facts proven and documented on our side." His appearance is one of several recent signals that the district attorney, Alvin Bragg, is poised to seek an indictment of the former president for his role in paying hush money to a porn star in the days before the 2016 presidential election. Now let's turn to Donald Trump. Trump will not appear before grand jury probing hush money payment, lawyer says. Former President Donald Trump will not appear before the Manhattan grand jury probing a hush money payment made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels during the 2016 presidential campaign, Trump attorney Joe Tacopina told NBC News on Monday. Trump's legal team met with the former president in Florida over the weekend. Following the discussions, the president decided not to sit for a meeting with the grand jury in New York. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office convened the grand jury to look into the payment made to Stormy Daniels, an adult film actress who alleges she slept with Trump before he became president. NBC News reported Thursday that Trump was invited to testify before the grand jury. The district attorney's office has declined to comment on the matter. Tacopino, one of Trump's lawyers, said Friday that Trump's attorneys have no plans to meet with the Manhattan District Attorney's office. His lawyer said the following: "We are not convinced they will bring a case, but if so, we will deal with it," Tacopino said Friday. And friends, Donald Trump, on his third-rate social media platform, offered this thoughtful analysis of his situation. "The probe is a scam, injustice, mockery, and complete and total weaponization of law enforcement in order to effect a presidential election!" Exclamation point. Thank you, Donald, for your thoughtful analysis. You know, it's no surprise that Donald Trump refused to testify before the grand jury, declined the invitation to tell the grand jury he committed no crimes. Because let's face it, if Donald Trump was placed under oath and he began testifying, if his lips were moving, he would likely be committing perjury. So it's no surprise that Trump was either afraid to testify or his lawyers told him he'd better not testify, or likely both. But let's just toss Donald Trump to the side for a minute. Let's go back to the Michael Cohen story. The reporting is that Michael Cohen met with the New York prosecutors 20 times before he finally went in and testified before the grand jury. Let me tell you, friends, that's a lot of meetings with a witness. Even in the big RICO cases I handled, I don't know that I ever met with a witness more than, 8, 10, maybe 12 times. Certainly not 20 times. Granted, I never prosecuted a former president of the United States. But 20 meetings with a witness is a lot. Let's talk about why that might be. First of all, Michael Cohen was Donald Trump's lawyer and self-described fixer, fixing those pesky problems for Donald Trump for a very long time, well over a decade. So there was a lot of evidentiary terrain to cover. So that's probably one of the reasons the prosecutors met with Michael Cohen so many times. Lots of financial transactions and business records to go over, lots of information that I think had to be downloaded from Michael Cohen to the prosecutors in those meetings. But apart from the evidence and the incriminating information Michael Cohen could provide to the prosecutors about Donald Trump, the prosecutors really needed to dig into what misconduct Michael Cohen may have been involved in. Why? Well, first of all, remember that Michael Cohen pleaded guilty to committing some crimes, including campaign finance crimes with Donald Trump back in 2016. And he pleaded guilty to those crimes in federal court some years ago and was imprisoned as a result. Now, what we don't know is if Michael Cohen has been held accountable for all the crimes he's committed or not. And if not, what does that mean? Well, it means that when and if Michael Cohen is put on the witness stand to testify against Donald Trump in a criminal trial, you can bet Donald Trump's defense attorneys will go at Michael Cohen with everything they've got. They will be loaded for bear. They will want to cross-examine Michael Cohen on every crime he may have committed. Why? Well, Donald Trump's defense team will try to show Michael Cohen is biased. Not only biased against Donald Trump, he hates Donald Trump, right? He wants revenge against Donald Trump. I don't believe those things are true. Michael Cohen has said repeatedly, look, I just want Donald Trump to be held accountable for his crimes, no more, no less. But the defense attorneys for Trump will also want to make it seem like if there's any crime that Michael Cohen committed that he hasn't been held accountable for, well, these prosecutors, these New York district attorneys or assistant district attorneys who are putting Michael Cohen on the stand, who met with him 20 times before putting him in the grand jury, are not even trying to hold him accountable for all those other crimes. That's fair game to show that maybe Michael Cohen has a bias in favor of the prosecution, has a reason to curry favor with the prosecutors to make sure they never bring any more charges against him for other crimes he may have committed. The last thing a prosecutor ever wants to have happen, friends, take it from me, is when you put a witness on the stand, like Michael Cohen, a cooperating witness. Now, Michael Cohen isn't technically a cooperating witness. That's somebody who pleads guilty and enters into an agreement with the prosecutors that in exchange for his guilty plea, he agrees to testify truthfully about all the crimes he knows, and then he may receive a benefit at the time of sentencing. He's not testifying under an active cooperation agreement, but he is kind of a cooperating witness. The last thing a prosecutor ever wants to have happen is putting somebody like Michael Cohen on the stand at trial, only to have the defense attorneys cross-examine him and expose for the first time things that the prosecution didn't even know about other crimes or misdeeds Michael Cohen may have been involved in. So there was a lot of information that the prosecutors wanted to know and needed to know from and about Michael Cohen before they could comfortably put him in the grand jury, but more importantly, put him on the witness stand at trial, which will be the next step after Michael Cohen testifies, Donald Trump is indicted, and then Donald Trump is tried for his crimes. So 20 meetings with the prosecutors sounds like a lot, but I think the prosecutors had every reason to be thorough. And now we will continue to hold on in white knuckle fashion, waiting for accountability, waiting for the first indictment to drop on Donald Trump. And I predict, friends, once it does, other indictments will drop. Other prosecutors will feel emboldened because they will say to themselves, whether in Georgia or at the Department of Justice, well, Donald Trump committed crimes in our jurisdictions as well. He's already been indicted. That barrier has been broken. The maiden legal voyage is being taken. Criminal charges against a former president of the United States. So I predict after that first indictment drops, others will follow. And that is precisely what should happen. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. Please hold on, even if in white knuckle fashion, because we're going to get there. We're going to get there. I look forward to talking with y'all again soon.